Welcome to Charter Chat. We are here today with Dr. Becky Berg, the superintendent of the Marysville School District.
I'm Max Larson.
And I'm Connor Stickles.
All right.
So, what is your job as superintendent? Like, what is it that you do?
Good question. The practical answer would be I run an organization with a $126 million budget, much like a CEO or a leader of a business. The more ennobling answer is that I help run school systems that hopefully change lives and make the world a better place.
How long have you had this position?
I've been in the Marysville School District since July of 2013. This is my 5th year as a superintendent.
Oh, wait. So since July of 2013?
Year and a half-ish here. This is my 2nd year and 3 years before that.
Oh, okay. So you worked somewhere else before
I did,
this?
yeah.
Where did you work?
The Deer Park School District, just north of Spokane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So, did you always want to work with education?
I don't think so. I came from a family of educators, so I wanted, I wanted to fly around in airplanes and do something really exotic. And actually, I did fly around in airplanes as a flight attendant for a while and found out that I really missed being with kids. I was a summer camp counselor for the YMCA, and that was just a wonderful time. And so as I became a teacher, it was just more of the same, working with kids and talking about their futures. So.
What made you want to work with? What made you come to the Marysville School District?
I love the Marysville School District. Even though we've gone through some tough times this year, I just couldn't be in a better spot. I was very excited to come to Marysville because everywhere I had worked previously, not everywhere, but most of the places I had worked previously were a majority culture, people that looked like me, people with similar backgrounds to me. And I really wanted to work in a more diverse setting. I wanted to work with kids from all different kinds of backgrounds. I like the socioeconomic mix of our students. We've got some middle class, some wealthy, and some families that are struggling to get by. And I feel that that's really good work to be involved in.
A little more specifically, what do you do as a superintendent? Like, give some examples.
Give some examples.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I come to ISC and am on Charter Chat. I'm being silly about that, but there is a lot of kind of public representation of the district in different venues with media, on lots of different committees, partnering with the tribes and partnering with the city to make sure our organization, our school district, is the best it can be. I oversee the budget, I oversee human resources, oversee learning and teaching, work directly with the board of directors. They are my 5 bosses, and I am their main employee.
All right. So, if someone wanted to become a superintendent, what kind of person do you have to be?
I don't know that I'd trust anybody that just woke up one day and said they wanted to be a superintendent. I love my work, but it's a really complex job. I really trust people who want to go into education to help kids and to make the world a better place. And if that's the kind of person that becomes a teacher or a paraeducator and works into education and becomes a principal and then wants to be a superintendent, that's the path most people take.
So what you're saying is someone that they can't just jump right into superintendent because
It's a big job.
You see that as a goal that they don't really want to help kids, or?
Well, that's a good question. There are people that jump in from military or business. I guess I'm old school in that I think you need to sit in the seats of the people that you're supervising, that you're evaluating, so you really can understand their work.
Makes sense. So, what are some of your goals? Just like, what are some of your plans?
Well, I could get into real detail, and that would bore you to absolute smithereens. I can get real lofty and remind us that we really are in the business of making the world a better place and making sure we're helping students be everything they were born to be. As a school district, we're working on rolling out our district improvement plan, which is about engaging people around learning and inspiring students and preparing them for the future. So I'm very excited. Last night we just sealed the deal with a professional development company out of Belltown to work on our technology professional development with teachers. So we'll be ramping up small groups of teachers to really say, how can that classroom experience look different? If you guys can learn what you want to learn on YouTube or on the internet, then what's the role of the teacher? What's the role of the school? So we're real excited to work with this company over the next 5 years. That's one small piece of our improvement plan.
That's interesting. What are some problems that you face, like day to day? Just what are some problems you've had to face?
Well, recently we've had a nightmare of problems with the murder-suicide at Pilchuck, and with the effect on our whole community and on the state, on educators and students at large. So that's been the major issue. Problems, I don't want to sound like Pollyanna, but problems really are opportunities and challenges to make things better. How to support families that are working 2 and 3 jobs, that can't afford basics and want to help their student, their child, and don't know how to get involved in the school. That's tough on families. And how to reach out to our families who may be new to this country or new to this area or speak a different language other than English. That's tough to build the trust. And then there's always the plain old problem of helping diagnose every individual brain and what they need to learn and what they need to achieve.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, have you had much trouble working with the Marysville School District? Like, how does it compare to like the other district that you've done work with? Have you find it easy to work with?
I absolutely love my job, and I'm not saying that because I'm on Charger Chat. Other than early mornings, I can't wait to get to work and can't wait to tackle what we talked about yesterday and to continue the work. Compared to other school districts, pardon me?
Early mornings? Do you like getting up early in the morning or something?
No, I'm a late night person, so I really admire y'all for being at your seats at like 7. It's awesome.
I'm so dead this morning.
I understand. I find there are many similar issues in all of the districts I've worked in as a teacher, as an administrator, as a superintendent. I love our community, though. The way we work together with the different agencies and the police and the mayor and the tribes, I mean, that's just really unique. So, and everybody has such a focus on kids. So it's a wonderful place to be.
So, you've worked with kids a lot. Have you come across like some things that just don't get said? Like,
How so?
it's just, well, actually, we have a segment here about things that guys and girls will never say. Let's see that.
Awkward pause.
I love the new Facebook.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
We
Yeah,
were
sorry.
trying to make a transition. I was trying to think.
Dude, I feel so good. I actually woke up before my alarm clock this morning.
Man, I'm not fat enough.
I think I'll shave my eyebrows. Dude, girls with armpit hair. So good.
The rain makes my hair look so beautiful.
Wow, I'm so happy I'm a Republican.
I just love it when Taco Bell messes up my order.
What am I doing? I hate food. I really just want a girl that's taller than me. Dude, Congress is so efficient.
You're like a guy.
Dude, do you have a MySpace account?
I can't believe my parents always take us to Hawaii for vacation. I just want to go to Canada.
Yes! My computer has a virus. Here's $1 million. Take it.
Kim Kardashian works so hard. You could really learn a lot from her.
Mr. Gay, thank you so much for moving the due date from the assignment from next week till today. I love how you need Google Plus to comment on YouTube videos. It makes things so much easier.
I love advertisements.
Go back to Charger Chat. Back with these questions now.
With Dr. Berg.
Are there any levies or bonds planned?
Good question. Last year, we passed a maintenance and operations levy and a technology levy. So we are thrilled that our voters said yes twice, and thrilled that our voters realize that we are extremely behind in technology. When Fred Meyer and McDonald's are more connected than the school district, we've got a problem. So the
Good way of putting it.
there you go. And so the voters really responded, and now the ball's in our court to make sure we use that tax money efficiently and really change learning and teaching for kids. We do not have any bonds which build buildings right now, although we have some buildings that are very old that were built in early 1950s that haven't been significantly remodeled since then. One of our high schools is 44 years old, cement block construction, can't drink the water out of the faucets, so we've really got a problem with facilities. But it's going to be a heavy ask because we tax ourselves already at a high level in Marysville, and so we've got to really think through that process carefully.
Yeah, I've heard about how some of the schools it's a little dangerous to drink out of the faucets.
Yeah, we're in one of the nicest schools probably in the country, so it's hard to imagine that just down the road we've got schools that are really in disrepair.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So going back a bit, can you tell us a bit about your school experience? Like where did you go to college? Just the path that brought you here today.
The school path that brought me here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I went to a high school in the Meade School District in Spokane, and then went to the UW for most of my undergrad. Rabid Husky fan, and then transferred to Eastern Washington University to graduate, so go Eags. I got my master's at Western Washington University in Bellingham, and got my doctorate at Columbia University Teachers College in New York City. So you'll find many educators have been to about a zillion colleges.
What is your highest priority right now?
Highest priority is helping the community recover and prevent any more violent episodes like we've had recently. But I guess highest is a tricky word because always our highest priority is educating kids and helping your futures be as bright as they can be. So I think now, as of October 24th, we have really two paths: recovery and prevention, and educating at the highest level.
So you brought up the MP shooting. That was something I actually wanted to ask you about. What are the plans for the cafeteria at MP?
Good question. So we did, I don't know if you had a chance to fill it out or not, but we did survey the whole community, including students, with a company called Thought Exchange that allows you to have an interactive survey. That they moved mountains to do that quickly for us. They're just over the border in Roslyn, BC, so they're our neighbors. So they are looking at all that data right now and trying to find themes and ahas, basically discoveries from that. We also are waiting to hear about a state grant that would fund this because we really don't have the $5 or $10 million it would cost to redo the cafeteria. The choices-ish, I mean, you can always blend and come up with a hybrid, but really, do we rebuild the cafeteria in its current place, or do we relocate it around the campus to a different place and just have a total fresh start? And we really wanted students and parents and community members to weigh in on that. So a long answer to your short question is we're waiting to hear the themes of the survey and waiting to hear if we're lucky enough to get a funding source, and then we'll be able to put those two things together and make a decision by the board of directors and go forward.
Another bit about that. Did you receive any donations? Did the Marysville School District receive any donations from that?
Yes, so there is a Marysville Recovery Fund that the Rotary Education Foundation has been gracious enough to manage for us. And they've received, I think, upwards of about $80,000, and that will go to victims and families and costs in the recovery. We are also applying for 2 different grants. Victims of violent crimes, I think, is one, and a federal grant called Project Serve. So got a lot of balls in the air waiting for some questions to be answered with funding.
Speaking of funding, extracurricular classes and activities in the Marysville School District, I know there's been trouble with some of those in the past, like band programs. Can you tell us just a bit about that? Like, what's the school district's attitude?
Well, I think the school district's attitude is we really educate the whole child. And although reading, writing, arithmetic are, you can't function real well in your life if you can't read, but there's a whole lot more to a student's experience, and there's a whole lot more to the world. So we really believe in a rich experience. We were glad when we passed the maintenance and operations levy that we were able to stop charging participation fees for athletics. When the going got tough in 08, 09, and back then when we were cut from the state, many districts started charging fees to participate in athletics. So we were able to stop charging those because we believe it really is a barrier for some kids to be able to play. So we were happy to do that. With the passing of the levy, we also added back some sports at the middle school and an activity bus for the middle school, which was awesome.
That's really nice. That's something we always miss there.
It's something we always miss. And right now, our district is funded at 08, 09 levels from the state. We're really hoping that the state comes through with more funding so that more of our local levy monies can be spent for enrichments like extracurricular activities.
That's good.
So, we live in a changing world. Like, technology's advancing. Lots of new advancements. Do you see any changes in the way school works in the next couple of years?
Yes, and that's tricky because I think schools have been probably one of the most difficult social institutions to change dramatically. We always want it to kind of look like when we went to school, and hopefully you'll be different than that when you're adults, and you'll want it to maybe be different and more modern, but much of us find comfort in some of the same structures. We do know, however, that with the advent of technology and the internet and the global connectedness, that we owe our kids that experience somehow. So we're working with a company out of Belltown to do professional development. We've been very behind in technology in our school district, and so we've been talking about the term leapfrogging. So for instance, one of our board of directors members does mission work in Kenya. Lots of them have cell phones and iPads, but they went from almost nothing. They leapfrogged. They didn't go through the wall phone episode and all of those episodes, eras that we've been through. So I really believe the Marysville School District is ready to leapfrog and do things differently with learning and teaching.
So basically, it went from medieval times straight to the Renaissance, like that.
Yeah, or hopefully to space age. I don't know.
Oh, so a big jump. Okay.
We're hoping to, but it's kind of, I gotta say, it's kind of scary for us because we're used to education looking a certain way.
Well, I hear we have some schools in the school district that already have iPads, like the 10th Street Middle School, right? Except they funded that on their own, I believe, right?
10th Street we provide for some kids who can't afford, and the rest bring their own. But we really do. You bring up a good point. I'm looking around in this studio, and we've got some beautiful iMacs and things. We really do have some schools that have and some schools that don't. This school was built in more recently, so it was able to purchase that technology out of the bond money. Other schools, parent organizations have purchased things, but it's time that we have really a uniform technological platform and menu for our kids.
Okay, well, we're going to jump into this next segment, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about at all.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. That would be Jack and Jill. We'll be right back.
Come on, you can do it! Come on! We'll never make it!
We have to.
When the time comes, what will you return with? The boy or the water?
are back on Charter Chat with Dr. Becky Berg. So, do you feel that like parents and PTSA organizations are having a good impact on the students? Like, are they being successful?
Well, they're not all the same. Some are a lot more active than others, but our PTSAs have been phenomenal. They are highly organized, involved with the PTA national organization, which gives a lot of structure, and just with parents in general, we couldn't do it without them. And I think that they think I might be just patronizing them when I say that, but truly, once you're a principal in a school and you realize how much parents do for the school, whether through fundraising or volunteering, advocating for kids, being in classrooms, this is a team sport, and they're a big member of our team.
So earlier we were discussing changes in school and also being tired.
Yes, we were.
Do you see any changes in the next 10 years? I don't see this happening anytime soon. Like with times, because recent studies have shown that high school students need to sleep in more than the elementary school, because it seems like elementary school kids can get up at like 6 in the morning and still be full of tons of energy.
My little brother does.
Exactly. Yes, if I had a magic wand and could change it tomorrow, I would reverse the order. You'd think a superintendent would have that authority, but honestly, it's all interconnected. So what are our parents' work schedules used to? Who watches the kids at home? People need plenty of warning if we're going to reverse school times. And then we're all interconnected, honestly, athletically, in our leagues. And I'm not a sports first person, but that is a good activity for many, many of our students. And already when they leave school and go play an event, they get home late at night. So there's that piece, there's how much school do they need to miss to engage in their activity, and there's what are the other schools in our leagues doing as far as start and stop times. So it's a much more complex answer than it seems to be on the surface.
So it would be a lot of work to have to go in and actually change all this, because there'd be a lot more planning than it actually seems.
Yes, it seems like it could just be, what's so difficult about that, just change it, but we're all interconnected. It's a systems issue, so if we all jump, we kind of all have to jump together. At least that's what's in my mind. I believe the Seattle School District is researching it pretty closely this year, so we'll learn from them as well.
Well, it takes like one person to take the leap and see what they do.
There you go. Yeah, we'll watch and see how they do, exactly.
So, is there any way for students or community members to get involved with the school district? Like, could you go into that a bit? Just if you wanted to make a change, what would be your first step?
With student and parent involvement?
Yeah, just.
So we have a few ways that parents and students can be involved, and I think the most really authentic way is at their local school. When you have a PTSA and a booster club that knows your teachers, knows your students, they are your parents, I think that's a real organic way of being involved. Student voice, I know in this school there's a lot of student voice and student choice. That's a huge way of being involved. From a district level, we have different committees where we ask for participation. We also have a lot of surveying and input placed on our website for input. We also have coffee and conversations in homes of people who are willing to host their neighbors, and I come out with a school board member and we talk about the school district. We also had a Dream Big event last year with 300 people on a Saturday to come dream and talk about your futures as a school district to help us with our strategic plans. So there's lots of ways to get involved. It just depends on how folks want their voice to be heard.
All right. Well, now that we're coming back from winter break and all that, you see, there's a lot of students with that got their new clothes. So let's jump into a segment about winter wear.
Let's do.
Yeah.
Charger Chat presents How to Be Prepared for Winter, presented by Brittany Sugarplum. Okay, let's start with footwear. Gotta put on some boots to keep your feeties warm. can never go wrong with your stylish lumberjack hat. But you can't forget your scarf because you don't want your neck to freeze. Next, sporting a lovely sweater and vest combo, we have Mr. Snowflake. That'll keep him warm this snowy season. Wow, it really is a snowy season. It's so bright. Gloves for your handsies. And a bonus, elf hat and a tie just to look like me. Last but not least, elf lights to get you in the holiday spirit. Don't forget your holiday decorations and have a good winter season, my little sugar plums.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to end the show now. So is there anything else you'd like to say?
Just thanks for having me. This has been great. You guys are awesome, and there's no better place than the Marysville School District, so thanks for having me.
Awesome. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you
nice
for
having
coming
me on
in.
the show.
Thank you.